Welcome back to the Bourbon Retriever. My name is Chris, and on my latest video, my bottle haul video, I received a ton of comments about the 1792 Sweet Wheat. In that video, I said that this isn't necessarily the best whiskey out there, to say that lightly. I think this is god-awful whiskey. So let's go ahead and jump into the 2025 batch of the 1792 Sweet Wheat and see if it changes my opinion. This bottle was first released in 2015. There is no age statement on the 1792 Sweet Wheat. When they first released it, though, they said in the press reports that it's about 8 years old, but you don't know if it's still 8 years old, if it's higher or lower. They just don't have an age statement on it. We know it's at least over 4 years old. We also don't know the mash bill for this bottle. We do know that they substituted the rye for the wheat. Barton is traditionally known for their high rye bourbons. So that'd be the secondary grain in it is rye, and traditionally has a higher rye proportion than other bourbons. But they basically switched that out, put the wheat in, but we don't know the exact amount of wheat in there. They just talk about switching those two grains, which then they call this a sweet wheat whiskey. So the Barton distillery that produced, aged, and distilled this bottle is also owned by Sazerac, which operates the Buffalo Trace distillery, which makes the very famous wheater, the Weller lineup. However, my guess is it's not the same mash bill because it says distilled at Barton. It doesn't say it's distilled at the Buffalo Trace distillery. So I have a high suspicion that it's not the same wheat and mash bill. Now, the last couple of specs before we jump into the review here. This is coming in at 91.2 proof and with an MSRP of about $42 to $43. That seems like a very respectable price point and proof for someone getting into whiskey. It's nice, light. It seems like it'd be something that would compete with a lot of the other entry-level Wellers out there. Like all the maker stuff is at that price point, kind of lower proof. Traditionally, I guess the Wellers, if you could find them, they'd be kind of at that same price point. But the issue with the 792 Sweet Wheat, very similar to the Wellers, is you just can't find it. So it doesn't really make sense to be something that would be in the beginner sphere because of just how hard you have to hunt to get it. But let's go ahead and jump into this here and see how it is. This is a fresh crack, so this is my first impressions on this latest release. Cheers. Okay, right off the bat, you definitely can tell this is a wheater. It is very sweet on the aroma there. Reminds me almost like a caramel cover nougat, like a candy bar type esque. Maybe a little bit of chocolate in there. It might just be me thinking it though, giving kind of the association I'm getting with it. But I'm getting more of that caramel nougat flavoring. Very, very sweet on the aroma there. And the other thing that I'm getting on this, which I am very pleasantly surprised with, is I'm not getting any of like that funk on it. On the other older batches of this that I had, it had a very off-putting, kind of moldy wheat smell to it that was just extremely off-putting for me. And for me personally, the aroma is like one of the bigger parts of drinking a whiskey, and have that aroma just wasn't for me. It'll be interesting though to see how this opens up, if like that molded cardboard comes out more as I drink it. But right now in fresh crack, it's not there at all. And then I don't know why I'm getting this note. I've said it before a couple times, and it still kind of throws me through the loop. I'm getting like a copper penny smell to it. Yeah, I don't know. Just get a kind of like copper note a little bit to it. Now, as I'm sitting here a little bit longer, and this is opening up about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, so it is starting to get that like weeder funk to it. It is opening up, and it's not quite as pungent as past batches so far, but I'm starting to get more and more of those weeder funk starting to come through just a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. It is definitely coming through now, but let's go ahead and jump in the palate and see kind of how it transitions. My first impressions, this is very hay forward. You can almost convince me this is a craft distillery with how hay forward that is. I would not guess legacy. I'm guessing that's the wheat maybe coming forward, very strong on this. It's not remind me of like the Bardstown wheated or the Weller wheated. Those are much more, I don't know if smooth is not the right word, but much more balanced drinking process. That sweetness just kind of runs through it. Whereas this is just more of like grainy wheat to it, which would also make me think that this might be younger. Like, I don't think this is anywhere close to 8 years old. If it is 8 years old, I'm going to be shocked because the graininess I'm getting through on this reminds me of something either craft or like very young. Yeah, the texture there on the back end almost feels like I'm eating the mash, like when they mash the whiskey or when they make bourbon or beer. I mean, that mash on the back end is very thick, grainy, just kind of almost like, yeah, literally I'm going on the field eating hay that's been kind of stirred in a pot a little bit, not fresh hay, but kind of wet, not moldy, but just decomposed hay. It's not the best texture and not like what I look for in bourbon. There's a little bit of caramel sweetness with that hay, but that hay note is still over predominant. This is not like a maker's funk. That's to me is much more like spicy, type of like a weeded funk. This one is much more, I'm trying to think, not muted, but more earthy. I think it's like a much more earthy type of weeded funk. It does have a decent finish for 91 proof. I'll give it that. It has a nice long lingering finish. The issue is it's not a finish I want. I do not like those earthy hay notes that are lingering on the palate. So it's almost more of a negative. But if you like those notes, this gives you a nice, long, lingering finish of those notes, and they carry out much longer than what other 91 proof whiskeys have. Yeah, that's rough. Now, before I get into my final thoughts on the 1792 Sweet Wheat, if you're enjoying this content and you want to see more things like it, hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of the future videos that I post. So should you buy, pass, or try and get a bar pour of this bottle? To me, it is a hard pass. I regret buying it immediately. I knew it was bad going into it, but just the tater in me needed it for my 1792 vertical set to kind of collect them all, which is a dumb reason to really buy whiskey. You should be buying it to drink it. I was hoping that this would be better than prior releases, and I can let you guys know that it is spot on with prior releases, and they were hot garbage. This is not a bottle that you guys should be going out there and buying. It is just not a good representation of what a weeded whiskey should be, in my opinion. And also with how hard they are to get and the hunt you have to do to get these bottles, at the end of the day, it's just not worth it. If you're in a hunt, spend your time and try and get a Weller 107. They have roughly the same secondary. They're both like $100. And that Weller 107, this bottle here, is a much more superior drink. If I could get this easily on the shelf, this would probably be like one of my daily pours. This is a really good whiskey, 107 proof, great proof point. Nice, good amount of oak on it too, balanced out with that wheat sweet note. It is just an all around great pour. However, that is a hard bottle to get. So, what is a bottle you get instead of this bottle at that like $40 price point? I think you guys should go ahead and grab. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, Bardstown Wheated. This is an absolute great bottle for that $40 price point. This gets you what wheated bottles I think should taste like. Nice, sweet, simple pour, nice creaminess to the stove with a little bit of oak on the back end. This is a great all-around pour. You can put in cocktails if you wanted. $40 might be a little high for that, but I think this is a great drinker. Put it on the rocks, have it in a neat glass. This, I think, is also probably the best of the Bardstown traditional lineup. Like Tea Discovery and some of the one-offs out of them, of their kind of core lineup. I think this is the best one to get, and you definitely should go and try this if you have not had it yet. The silver lining for me with this bottle is I hope with me taking the bullet here and buying it and giving a review that some of you guys at home can kind of position your money to buy other bottles that might more closely align with your palate and be a good pour. But if you're enjoying this content, hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my future review videos. And before you out, check out this video here. And until next time, cheers.